Namaskar viewers, hello and welcome to Sansad TV. I'm Teena Jha, you're watching Perspective. India's march towards becoming a Viksit Bharat by 2047 is being fueled by a digital revolution. From smartphones and laptops to cutting-edge medical and industrial equipment, electronic devices are now at the heart of our economy, innovation and everyday life. But with this rapid technological growth comes an often overlooked consequence: electronic waste or e-waste. India is currently the third largest producer of e-waste in the world, behind only China and the United States. In the year 2024 alone, the country generated a staggering 3.8 million metric tons of e-waste, which was double the amount that we produced just a decade ago. So as one of the fastest growing electronics markets globally, India's e-waste problem is only set to grow. And managing this mountain of discarded gadgets and devices is becoming one of our most pressing sustainability challenges. So how are we addressing the rising e-waste challenge and also the risks associated with it? What do the e-waste management rules 2022 say about prioritizing safety and efficiency, also sustainability in e-waste management? How are we scaling up AI solutions to improve e-waste collection and management? These are some questions we'll try and find answers to on the show today. Two experts join us on the program, so let's begin by introducing them to you. We have with us on the program Dr. Suneel Pandey, Director, Environment and Waste Management, the Energy and Resources Institute. Dr. Pandey, thank you for your time. Welcome to the program. Also pleased to welcome Mr. Akshay Jain, Founder and Managing Director, Namo eWaste Management Limited. Mr. Jain, glad to have you with us on this broadcast as well.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, but before we get into how we are managing and what is the policy framework that we have to manage e-waste in the country, Dr. Pandey, could you help us and our viewers understand the e-waste landscape in India? Also, what types of electronic waste are we seeing nowadays? What is the biggest source of electronic waste in the country? We are now the third largest e-waste generated in the world.
See, the biggest source for the e-waste, as you said, is our mobile phones, laptops, and gadgets which have quick turnaround time, where you generally discard them within 3 years or 4 years or 5 years of usage, and also associated batteries with them. Batteries are becoming a big problem. And so these are the kind of e-waste articles which have short life. Not only short life, but because their software gets changed so fast, and the capability of processing the data faster requires one to change the e-waste articles time to time, and that is resulting into fast generation of such e-waste items.
So, sir, what would you cite as the key factors which are driving this, growth, an unprecedented growth in e-waste in the country? We understand there's been increased urbanization, there is tech adoption, but beyond that, are there factors which we don't know much about, but which are contributing equally in India today, generating so much of electronic waste?
See, we are going more and more digital in terms of transactions, in terms of our day-to-day operations, whether it is banking, whether it is other services. So naturally, more and more e-waste, e-articles would be in use. And that is why our gadgets use is increasing. On one hand, it is also beneficial because we are getting rid of, for example, if you look at checks, banking checks, we don't even remember when we last wrote the banking check. So everything is done now in terms of banking or in terms of UPI transaction digitally. So more and more digital infrastructure is required, and that is resulting into more and more e-waste generation in the course of time.
Okay. Mr. Jain, Namo eWaste is one of the key players among the private sectors in recycling. I have questions about recycling, but before that, I would like to understand from you, because when we discuss the factors that are contributing to this e-waste, it's not just that India today is the biggest electronics market. There is also there are also factors like, say, lack of repair infrastructure, also the consumer behavior, because what we are also seeing in society is that a lot of people want to own the newest gadget available in the market. And perhaps the reason for that is that the in-hand disposable income has increased. So that's good news. But when it comes to managing e-waste, we still don't know what to do with the old phone that we've just discarded. So have you also seen a shift in the type of e-waste that's coming in? Because consumers are replacing gadgets faster than ever today, and it's going to only increase in the times to come. So what kind of shift have you noticed in terms of the e-waste that is coming in? How are you adapting to that infrastructure, that changed infrastructure?
So I wanted to join in the conversation and add on to what Dr. Pandey was saying. So the reason for enhancement of generation of e-waste is also that there are new gadgets that are now coming. For example, so many mobile accessories. We have got AirPods and those kind of accessories. We have got different types of speakers. So many of such items were not even into such a mass existence when like Namo e-waste started in 2015. So now we are dealing with newer generation products, and certainly these accessories and these kind of products, they have very shorter life compared to the old kind of electronic devices. So earlier we used to have kitchen appliances and we used those for years. But now these are technological, these are new advanced products, but they have a very short-lived and very limited applications. So they are certainly a part of the trend, like any other trend, how we pick on trends these days. So that's like another trend which comes in and quickly fades away. Now that leads to the increase in e-waste. This is where these new kind of devices, they become e-waste. So we are also like improvising, we are learning. Our job demands that we continuously improve our technology. We continuously learn and make our process better to accommodate all these different kinds of electronic waste.
Okay, so we now understand, we have a fair idea of what the e-waste landscape is all about, how much e-waste is India generating every year. It's only increasing year on year. But the next question, Dr. Pandey, is how are we prepared to meet with that challenge? How would you assess India's preparedness to tackle the growing e-waste challenge, both at urban and rural levels?
From the very beginning, when the e-waste problem was being realized, the initial electronic waste rule that recognized that at some point of time, because of digitalization happening, our e-waste is going to grow.
Yes.
And there's unlike other waste streams like municipal solid waste stream or hospital waste stream, there was no formal waste collection system. And e-waste is something which doesn't get generated every day. It's once in a while when the product goes end of life. And so that is where the first rules in 2010-11 were framed, and the onus was on the through a scheme called Extended Producer Responsibility, which is a market-driven tool, which said that onus for collection of e-waste when it becomes a waste is on the producer, and they need to ensure that they need whatever products they are putting in the market, end of the life, they would it would be their responsibility to collect that waste. In 2016, we further kind of built on that, and not only EPR got further refined, extended producer responsibility, but also we kind of came out with guidelines on how producers and manufacturers of such articles can basically ensure that whatever material they put in the market, end of the life, it gets collected and it's sent for recycling. And the recycling targets were introduced. So that's the kind of way in which the policies with the government of India, they kind of looked at looked at the collection problem which was there earlier, to ensure that all the e-waste which gets generated as a waste is collected and sent for recycling.
Mr. Jain, we will try and understand about the procedure that what's your operational model at Namo eWaste Limited. And I'm curious to know what are some of the challenges that you face at different levels. So when we talk about e-waste collection, segregation and recycling, what are the challenges both at logistical and regulatory levels that companies like yours have to face?
So the regulatory challenges have been more or less addressed in last, let's say, 2.5 years. We are very much thankful to the Central Pollution Control Board, firstly for coming out with the guidelines, and secondly in the righteous implementation that they're trying to do. So the entire EPR mechanism has been digitized, and now the exchange of credits are happening on the CPCB portal, where producers and recyclers can get in touch with each other. And the target of the producer can be, the credits can be directly sent to the wallet of producer by the recycler. So regulatory work, I think what they've done in last couple of years has been really amazing. Now, as a as far as recycling capacity of the country is concerned, that has also increased significantly. So when we started in 2015, there were 180 odd registered recyclers, out of which there were only less than 25% which were relevant. Now we have over 700 recyclers in the country and many more who are in waiting to get their licenses and approvals from the government. So India has really enhanced the capacity in last 5-6 years, which is a tremendous work done by the recyclers. I mean, recyclers have been supporting the government in order to achieve this huge EPR initiative.
Right.
So the challenges that we are facing right now is probably the lack of more organized collection channels. For the large part of our collection systems, we are hugely dependent on the aggregators who are working in the informal sector. So that dependency has to be neutralized with time, where we can directly reach out to the consumers and able to collect at a cheaper price for us, so that recycling became sustainable.
Sure, I'll take that question and I'll get in Dr. Pandey's perspective, but there's a related question on the extended producer responsibility, Mr. Jain. How effective has this been, has EPR been as a policy tool in ensuring proper recycling of the electronic goods?
100%. See, as the numbers suggest, I said in 2015 there were 180 recyclers, but in 2025 more than 700. The EPR rule first came out in 2017, and 2018 onward the implementation started. So I think the EPR is the backbone of the work that is happening in e-waste in India right now. So all the credit goes to EPR policy, where the incentivization has come from the producer to the recyclers. So without this EPR incentivizations, the recyclers were not able to collect e-waste from the market and use their capacities, use their facilities to recycle it. So the biggest paradigm shift that has come because of EPR. Now, what is currently, we are in the phase of regulatory framework happening. So the first stage of implementation of EPR in India was capacity building. The second stage is enabling the recyclers through adding more producers into the EPR framework, which started after the modification, after the new guidelines in 2022. And since then, the regulatory phase has been happening, where a lot of digitization, as I mentioned earlier, has happened already. Right. So I think overall, the direction which the government is moving and the industry is moving is really tremendous.
Certainly, and the e-waste management rules 2022 also brought in significant reforms. Dr. Pandey, in your view, what has been the significant game changer that the 2022 rules brought about? And also, Mr. Jain spoke about the informal sector. So I would like to know, how well are we integrating the informal sector into the formal recycling systems that we have set up? How are we protecting the workers while also tapping their operational efficiency? Because at the end, their safety is of utmost importance as well.
With the 2022 e-waste rules amendment, it not only worked on expanding the recycling targets, but also looked at a certain amount of recovery of various precious and semi-precious metal recycling, and also ensured that when these are recovered by recyclers, certain amount is recovered as a minimum benchmark, whether it is lead or whether it is platinum or gold or silver or aluminium or copper. It also kind of established a recycling benchmark, which actually reflects on the efficiency of a recycler, so that good recyclers are there in the market. It's not that every recycler, in spite of its inefficiency, is in the market. Second is informal sector, as also said by Akshay, have a capability to get material from the market. It's because they can offer higher price to one who is putting the material in the market, and that is where the crux of e-waste management lies. How formal recyclers or formal producers under EPR can interact with the informal sector, can make them partners in the business, and can ensure that, and Akshay also pointed out briefly on that, how interacting with informal sector can ensure that your material supply chain remains intact, and you get continuous material supply, because recycling is about how much material you get on a regular basis to your recycling facility. So a good interaction with the informal sector is required. Informal sector's strength is basically into collection of material, aggregation, and to some extent, say, dismantling. And recyclers go beyond that and do complex job of recycling and extracting precious and semi-precious material from e-waste. So that is where the synergy is required between informal and formal players.
Absolutely. Sir, technology has, brought this crisis before us, and therefore technology also will provide the solution. In the course of my research, I found out that the Bhopal Municipal Corporation, the Pune Municipal Corporation have deployed AI in different forms, to sort of segregate electronic waste, also map. So I'm curious to know what role can emerging technologies and particularly AI play in improving e-waste logistics in India? For example, in mapping the waste flows that are happening from one level to the other, in the automating sorting that is being done at various levels, and also on improving the compliance monitoring which is happening. So, and perhaps if this model is successful, it can be replicated in the other cities as well.
Yeah, I think the use of technology is limitless. As far as this collection is concerned, yes, a lot of work, because our devices are also getting smarter. So everything now, refrigerator, even air conditioner, washing machines, they've all got smarter, where you can connect it to the Wi-Fi and you can monitor the data and everything. Right. So I think that will make the job easier. And in terms of the integration of technology, AI in collection, I think it is going to significantly improve the e-waste ecosystem in future.
Dr. Pandey, are there any recent innovations or pilot programs that you can think of that show promise in terms of scalability and impact in India? Maybe even at a smaller scale, but perhaps which is being done and which can be replicated at a larger scale?
Currently, actually, if you look at the donor ministry for the e-waste management is Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, though the rules are notified by Ministry of Environment and Forest. Mm-hmm. They have supported some indigenous technology packages. For example, if you look at e-waste, some amount of that is plastics. So how those plastics, which also contain something like brominated flame retardants or flame retardants in general terms. So how these plastics can be recycled to high value product, getting rid of brominated flame retardants in the processing. And so this technology package, the ministry has been trying to develop and has developed, and also looking to propagate that. In addition, there's a lot of focus in the coming days is also coming on what we have not been able to recover in e-waste recycling. For example, if you look at printed circuit boards, if you look at informal recycling, they generally remove only copper, to some extent maybe gold, and throw rest of it. But what we throw in terms of material of interest is a lot of rare earth metals. And if you look at recovery of these rare earth metals, probably in terms of cost, they are much higher than amount of gold and copper which you recover. So we are also working towards technology packages which would give us complete solution, not only recovery of traditional copper and aluminium and gold, but also recovery of these rare earth materials. And these rare earth materials are becoming important because if you look at recently, a day or two, China has imposed some restriction on magnets, which are exclusively used in automobiles. So this would also in turn give us security in terms of resource availability to have our own kind of materials which are made of this.
Okay, Mr. Jain, are there any real-time technologies that Namo eWaste perhaps is deploying or is looking to deploy in the times to come to increase efficiency, transparency and safety in the collection and processing chain?
Yeah, we have built an app for collection of e-waste. This is basically connecting us directly with the consumers. So where you can log in and select your device. And also, like, we are instantly paying the customer in order to, match what informal sector is actually doing it for them. So this is on the collection side, yes. And on the material recovery side, we are working on BFRs to Dr. Pandey. And apart from that, precious metal recovery for gold, we are working with METI, CMET Hyderabad for quite some time now. So the technology integration for us is happening on both the ends, from collection to the material recovery and also the hazardous waste disposal.
Okay, we'll have to wrap up the conversation. So I'll take one last comment from both our guests. Dr. Pandey, to you first. What according to you, should be three most critical steps that India must take at this juncture to manage its growing e-waste problem? Because it's going to only increase, as we've rightly discussed in the beginning of the program, but we need to manage this problem more effectively, and we need to come up with urgent solutions, timely solutions, effective solutions.
Number one would be design and longer life of these products, so that they get into waste stream much later than what they're doing now. Number two would be repairability option, because in Europe also this many consumers are now looking at a right to repair, and which also would at some point of time come in India. And number three, specific to India, is leakage in the informal sector, which is happening currently, for which our formal recycling rates are still lower.
Okay, Mr. Jain, your last word on what individuals, what consumers, what perhaps small businesses can do to contribute to be more responsible and do their bit in terms of contributing to a more circular electronics economy?
I think one of the key factors is consumer awareness. See, you have to be really aware of how the waste, in return for a small amount of money, how it flows down to the informal sector, and then it affects our health and environment, and it is affecting the people around us. So yes, the responsibility on an individual, as small business owners, as the housing societies, RWAs. So I think that is the responsibility of the whole community to actually restrict the flow of the leakage of e-waste into the informal sector. Your waste should only go through the formal sector so that you get better recoveries and also a healthier environment. Otherwise, informal recycling is a huge contributor to all the environmental problems that we are observing right now.
Absolutely. Despite so many campaigns, public awareness on e-waste management remains limited. This is one area where the policymakers and where every stakeholder has to contribute more effectively. And I think for us as well, for those who are using technology, for those who are, discarding our electronic items even when they can be reused or repaired. I think managing e-waste has to start with us individuals. The choices that we make today, the devices that we discard, and how we dispose them is extremely important. So for everything, we cannot be putting accountability on the governments or on the private players or on every stakeholder that's concerned. But I think the responsibility also lies with us individuals who are using these items and ultimately discarding them. So that has to be done effectively. With that, we'll have to wrap up the conversation. Thank you once again, Mr. Jain and Dr. Pandey, for your valuable insights. And to you viewers, thank you very much for your time as well.